Just remember, the stuff presented by this creepy bear is from the Evolution 101 website, written by the Understanding Evolution team. Commentary by Rent-A-Friend2000. That's me.
How we know what happened when life began 3.8 billion years ago, and insects diversified 290 million years ago, but the human and chimpanzee lineages diverged only 5 million years ago. How have scientists figured out the dates of long-past evolutionary events?
The real answer is an embarrassment, which these authors probably don't really know. I will provide just a tiny glimpse into the pants down with the prom shame, which is the history of evolutionary dating methods.
Here are some of the methods and evidence that scientists use to put dates on events. 1. Radiometric dating relies on half-life decay of radioactive elements to allow scientists to date rocks and materials directly.
The science of radiometric dating is a fairly new one, less than a century old. Suffice it to say, no one has been watching things decay for millions of years. So how have they calibrated the system? First off, most don't. The assumptions are unquestioned. Those that do use things like fossils to calibrate the system by testing the radioactive elements found near them. But wait, how do they know how old those fossils are without radio dating them? Simple. They are dated using the evolutionary worldview. But doesn't that mean they are using evolution to calibrate the dating methods, and then using the radio dating methods to support the evolutionary worldview? Yes. But doesn't that mean they're basically using evolution as evidence for evolution? At this time, the captain would like you to fasten your seatbelts, put your seats and tray tables in the full upright and locked positions, and firmly secure your mind diaper. Thank you for flying Creation Soapbox Airlines. But chemistry is a fairly reliable science, right? Certainly. Chemistry is an observational science, meaning we can see chemicals doing their thing right here and now. But the evolutionary story and deep time are far from here and now. This is like a guy saying to himself, "Hey, this tape measure certainly was accurate in measuring the length of my house and the height of my dog. I'll bet I can use it to measure the distance to the moon." I'm just waiting for the first angry email asking, "What's wrong with that?" Bring it on. Do we have any cause to doubt the results of radio dating? Boy, do we! I could go on for pages with examples, but my favorite comes from right here in the good old US of A. When the lava rock at the top of Mount St. Helens was dated using these methods, we first off got dates that ranged from 300,000 to 2.8 million years. That's a huge margin! Like, 2 scientists measuring the Empire State Building and one declaring that it is 1,250 feet tall, which it is, and the other declaring that it is more than 2 miles tall, which it is not. The best part about this lava flow they tested is this: we know when the lava rock formed. How? We watched it happen in 1980. Here's a quick unnecessary joke. Science tells us that the rock is 300,000 years old, and we know that Madonna is older than that rock. I suppose she does look good for her age. Okay, back to the science. The rock was less than 30 years old. This is like our 2 scientists having come to the 2 measurements above by measuring a model of the Empire State Building, which is actually 1.5 inches tall. Starting to see why some of us don't trust these methods? And this is not a new issue. Check out the date on this quote. 200-year-old lava rock, dated at 1.6 million to 2.96 billion years. October 11, 1968. 1968! Every time we date volcanic rock we know the age of, the resulting ages are wrong by hundreds of thousands or millions of years. Why would we trust it to find the age of rocks we don't know? If my bathroom scale says my hamster is 800 pounds, I'm not stepping on that thing to see what I might weigh. Here's another part of the puzzle which fails for evolution. Radiometric dating methods only work for lava rock, but fossils are found in conglomerate rock, which is rock formed by sediment and water, like in some huge global flood, for instance. Thus, these methods are useless for dating fossils even if they were reliable. To continue with my metaphor, if my bathroom scale says my hamster is 800 pounds, I'm not going to use it to find out how tall I am. But apparently, Darwin would. Carbon-14 dating is just as bad. First, because it's not even hypothetically reliable for anything older than 50,000 years. When people say it's been used to prove dinosaurs are hundreds of millions of years old, the only point they're making is how much they still have to learn. After 50,000 years, all of the C14 has decayed and there is nothing to test. But secondly, and more importantly, we cannot find anything on Earth that has no C14 in it. This means, if the tests are to be believed, then nothing on Earth lived more than 50,000 years ago. So much for the 5-million-year-old monkey. Finally, sometimes organic things, like tree remains, can be found fossilized in rock and coalified, meaning that part of the tree is coal, still organic, containing C14, and part of the tree is rock, no longer containing carbon. Even if you can explain the formation of such items with the evolutionary assumptions, and you can't, you'd still fail to get the radio rock dates and the C14 dates to agree, and that's not merely my opinion, as you can see here.
It may come as a shock to some, but fewer than 50% of the radiocarbon dates from geological and archaeological samples in northeastern North America have been adopted as acceptable by investigators.
But as this fabulous quote will show you, getting the right date isn't as hard as you might suspect, with a little imagination.
Professor Brew briefly summarized the common attitude among archaeologists toward it as follows. If a C14 date supports our theories, we put it in the main text. If it does not entirely contradict them, we put it in a footnote. And if it is completely out of date, we just drop it.
And one more, just for fun.
No matter how useful it is, though, the radiocarbon method is still not capable of yielding accurate and reliable results. There are gross discrepancies, the chronology is uneven and relative, and the accepted dates are actually selected dates. This whole blessed thing is nothing but 13th century alchemy, and it all depends upon which funny paper you read.
When evolution tries to justify all of these issues, it sounds to me like the pants down at the prom nerd trying to explain that they were breakaway party pants. They're supposed to fall off during the spotlight dance. If you knew that, you wouldn't be laughing, you'd be jealous. And so would the 5-million-year-old monkey he's dancing with. Dun dun dun, join me next week for more dun 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 science! Thanks for liking and subscribing and for sharing this on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, and any other way you can. Thanks for any comments or emails you care to send. And thanks for letting me be your rental friend. Ba-da-da-dum-bum.